It was the early 1980s. The Cold War had entered one of its darkest chapters. Behind the Iron Curtain, Soviet leaders believed something terrifying. They thought the United States was secretly preparing a surprise nuclear attack. Not next year, not next month, at any moment. And so, the Soviet Union launched one of the largest intelligence operations in its history. Thousands of KGB officers, hundreds of spies, dozens of countries, all searching for one thing. The first sign that World War III had begun. This was Operation Ryan, the secret mission that almost turned fear into nuclear war. By 1981, relations between the Soviet Union and the West had reached a dangerous low. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan had intensified tensions. The United States, under Ronald Reagan, dramatically increased military spending and took a tougher stance against Moscow. To Soviet leaders, this didn't look like deterrence. It looked like preparation. Memories of Operation Barbarossa still haunted the Kremlin. In 1941, Nazi Germany had attacked with almost no warning. The Soviet leadership vowed never to be caught off guard again. This time, they would see the attack coming, even if they had to search every corner of the world. Operation Ryan begins. The mission was given a simple but chilling name, Ryan, an abbreviation derived from the Russian phrase for nuclear missile attack. Its objective was unlike anything the KGB had attempted before. Every Soviet embassy, every intelligence station, every undercover operative received the same order. Watch everything. Were hospitals stocking unusual supplies? Were government officials suddenly disappearing from public view? Were military families being quietly evacuated? Did embassies start burning classified documents? Even a sudden increase in nighttime lights at government buildings could be treated as a warning sign. Nothing was considered too small, because if they missed the first clue, millions could die. The world through the eyes of the KGB soon. The KGB's global network became consumed by suspicion. Agents reported tiny details from cities across Europe and North America, an unusual military convoy, a change in airline schedules, a new communication antenna, a government exercise. Individually, none of these meant much, but together, the Kremlin feared they formed a pattern. The problem was that Operation Ryan wasn't just gathering intelligence, it was feeding fear. The more agents searched for signs of war, the more signs they believed they found. The Soviet Union had entered a dangerous cycle where paranoia began shaping intelligence. The closest call. Then came November 1983. NATO launched a command post exercise known as Able Archer 83. To Western commanders, it was routine, a training exercise, nothing more. But Soviet intelligence didn't know that. The exercise simulated the procedures for escalating to nuclear conflict. Communications increased, military units moved, aircraft became active. To Soviet analysts already convinced that a surprise attack was imminent, this looked frighteningly real. Across parts of the Eastern Bloc, Soviet forces reportedly increased their readiness. Nuclear-capable aircraft were prepared. Missile units stood on alert. For a brief and terrifying moment, a military exercise risked being mistaken for the beginning of World War III. The secret that stayed. Hidden, the West had little idea how seriously Moscow viewed the situation. Only years later, after the Cold War ended and documents became available, did historians piece together the scale of Operation Ryan, what many in Washington saw as ordinary military planning. The Kremlin interpreted as possible evidence of an impending nuclear strike. Both superpowers believed they were acting defensively, yet each side's actions reinforced the other's fears. It was a classic example of how misunderstanding, not intention, can bring nations to the edge of catastrophe. Ending Operation Ryan never uncovered a real plan for a surprise nuclear attack, because there wasn't one. But its legacy is a powerful reminder that in the world of espionage, perception can be just as dangerous as reality. Thousands of spies, millions of reports, one misunderstanding, and a world that came far closer to nuclear war than almost anyone realized. Sometimes the greatest threat isn't the weapon itself, it's the fear that someone else is about to use it. Question for viewers: if you were a Soviet intelligence officer in 1983, would you trust that NATO was only conducting an exercise, or would you prepare for the worst?